Hello, 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 Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, guys, and this is TransurfingTV. And I'm really excited to give this lesson today because I get to tell a little bit of my story and how I managed to, at a very, very pivotal moment in my life, understand the value of evolving my frequency, which I discussed in the previous video. If you missed that one, go back and take a look at it before you watch this, because this one is going to tie in directly to that video. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I used frequency and outer intention to essentially create wealth for myself, and in an environment where it was seemingly, I don't want to say impossible, but I realize now, looking back on my life retrospectively, and this moment in my life, the magic that transpired and how confused people were around me, that were like, how is she doing that? How is she doing that? What is she doing? I've had so many people in my life ask me, especially when I was living a pretty extravagant lifestyle in Los Angeles. I had my own 42-foot sailing yacht in Marina del Rey, and I had my own business, and I was kind of living large, and people were like, how are you doing that? And this is how I was doing it. Outer intention and frequency. So this is going to be, again, the second to the last lesson of this series. If you have missed any of the previous ones, go back and take a look. They're all valuable. But now I'm going to get into a little bit of my story, and you can take what it is that I've learned, practically apply it to your life in your own way, hopefully seeing some results in your reality. I'm really hoping this series is going to help you connect with something higher and better. And again, I'm gonna tell you what I did. So before I get started, remember to like this video, comment below, and subscribe to this channel. Join us on the Facebook group, the International Transurfing Institute Facebook group. Follow me on Instagram, reality_transurfing, and the courses, Tufty 2.0 and Reality 2.0, Mo Money Deluxe Edition, getting ready to drop around the 1st. So keep an eye out for that. And I talk a lot about all this stuff in there. Exactly what I did. Exactly. And as I get into this lesson, you are going to see that it really was me transurfing my reality. Even prior to this knowledge, I was destined. I mean, I guess that's probably a harsh word to use in the context that I just used it. I was destined more for a life of poverty and following the footsteps of the people before me, the generations before me, that were always struggling, always dissatisfied, always needing more and wanting more and feeling just completely destroyed by life. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but it was kind of the case. Extreme deprivation from heart and mind coordination, which triggers outer intention, and just that very lack poverty mentality. That was really the direction that I was headed in until about my mid-20s, when I decided to take action in my layer of reality. So as I previously suggested in the video frequency and manifestation, I had to evolve my frequency to match up with what it was that I intended to have. Otherwise, I was just going to be attempting to pull it onto my layer of reality with these mismatched frequencies. And as, you know, hustle culture clearly displays to us, it's really hard to see results and to benefit from this type of behavior. So, as I told initially in the previous video, this experience that I had where I realized I had to evolve my frequency by surrounding myself with the exact things that I intended to have in a practical way, which was me going into the Cartier store and like trying on $1 million pieces of jewelry, even though I didn't have a cent to my name. You know, I did this thing, I started to do this thing, even though I had no money, I didn't belong. I had no understanding of this realm, of this world, luxury stuff and money and freedom because of financial, you know, abundance and all this kind of stuff. But I knew that I needed to expand and exit that box that I had been confined to for the previous 25 years and throw myself into some higher realms where I could access some higher information and expose myself to higher frequency stuff. Now, it wasn't in just this act that I, you know, manifested my wealth. It was actually outer intention that took me there. So, again, and I stated this in my previous video, you are going to have to figure out the way that you are going to apply what it is that I'm suggesting today to your life in your own specific circumstances. You could do it like me if what I'm going to talk about compels you or you want to have that sort of thing, but chances are you probably are going to want your own thing that you feel heart and mind coordination over, but you take this knowledge and you work with it to apply it to your life in your own individual way, right? You match up your frequency with what it is that you intend to have, and making certain, and this is a big part of it here, that your heart and mind are absolutely in alignment over that thing, whatever it is that you're resonating with. And then outer intention sort of opens the door and picks you up and takes you to some of those layers of reality where you then can manifest, materialize exactly what it is that you have set your sights on, and it comes into your reality easily, with ease, right? This is real. This is an absolute reality hack, and this is exactly what has happened for me. So going into these fancy stores, throwing myself into some higher social circles, exposing myself to a higher level of wealth, then what happened is, particularly, my heart and mind was in alignment over jewelry, right? And I know this kind of is like, well, it's crazy that your heart and mind would be in alignment over something material, but it was actually in alignment with this material stuff in a different way other than just having it, right? Or just obtaining it or just getting it. It was in alignment of me actually becoming a trader of this stuff. So it was kind of like a 1-2 punch, like a combo thing that happened where I knew that I needed to evolve my frequency by exposing myself to these higher things. And then at the same time, I knew that it was time for me to actually embark on an endeavor that my heart and mind were in alignment over, that was going to sort of create this path to exactly where I wound up, which was a higher level of reality. Again, I know this is probably a little overwhelming or it sounds complicated or a little ambiguous, but you absolutely can do this. This is something that you do have access to. Whatever it is that you want, you do have access to beyond just you having the thing, right? Beyond you just having the thing. But the first part is you have to lay it out for yourself, what it is you want first. Make certain that your heart and mind are in agreement over that thing, and then outer intention kicks in. Okay, so how this happens specifically for me. So I realize I'm resonating at a low level. I've got poverty mentality. I need to expand the walls of my comfort zone so I can allow in what it is that I intend to have, which is a higher level of wealth. And specifically, I had set my sights on jewelry, diamonds, things that are extremely valuable in nature, right? And how this ended up coming to me via outer intention was a little bit of a miracle. So I'm doing this thing, I'm exposing myself to this higher stuff, and I'm having this idea in my mind that I want to somehow get into buying and selling this stuff. So then, pivotal moment in my life, I go into a pawn shop to pawn my wedding ring fresh out of a divorce, and I realize that the owner needs somebody to run his eBay account, and I had experience on eBay. So there was the crack, right? There was the crack. There was the way in to that layer of reality where the presence of what it was that I was intending on manifesting for myself existed more abundantly. Now, it was just a crack. I had to move in through that crack. I saw that crack and I took the opportunity and I moved in. So there, right? I'm down here initially, poverty, no money, a bunch of debt, no purpose in life, no path to higher levels of wealth, no way to provide for myself, any of that kind of stuff. I'm down here, but I expose myself to some higher things, right? Increase my frequency just a little bit, and then sure enough, outer intention kicks in and shows me a way, a crack in which I can squeeze through, right, to a higher level of reality, upping myself and upping my layer just a little bit. Then from here, outer intention did it again, right? Then outer intention offered me a way to have my own business. And then outer intention offered me a way to get some financing to where I could really up my game in the jewelry business and become a dealer like I had seen other people become. And all of this was done by evolving my frequency and allowing my heart and mind coordination over this endeavor, continued action, and keeping my thoughts in line with what my intention was, so that outer intention could present to me more ways in which I could actually materialize all that I was intending on having. The path to higher wealth, the business for myself, the freedom, and the actual material things. So I get the job in the pawn shop, and that's a little way in. And then my heart and mind are like, God, this is great. This is exactly what you've been waiting for. This is what you want. So my eyes are open. I'm tuned to that frequency. My actions are propelling me more and more into that next frame where outer intention comes and again presents to me some other stepping stone, some other crack, some other opportunity. And this is exactly how outer intention picks you up and carries you to those higher levels of reality where all that you want exists. But again, following the steps as I have suggested in all the prior videos, really making certain that what it is you're going after is not just some standard created by some pendulum and something that society tells you that you should have, like some ambiguous amount of money, or, you know, something that you don't even really necessarily want. Making certain that what it is you're choosing is in line with what your heart and mind absolutely wants, right? You resonate at the frequency of that thing, expanding the walls of your comfort zone a little more to incorporate that stuff, moving you up to a version of reality where the presence of that thing starts to exponentially increase. Maintaining action and maintaining thought quality. And I know this is like, God damn, that sounds like so many steps. But once you've sort of done it and you've cracked the code and you understand exactly what it is I'm talking about, you can move around and you can do this in all different areas of your life in different ways. As I'm doing now with Reality Transurfing, it's a freaking magic trick. It's a magic trick. It's a real life magic trick using outer intention to catapult you, but you have to maintain your awareness. You have to have energy, and your heart and mind, they gotta be in alignment, right? Without that, outer intention is not really going to show up. And outer intention is the thing that carves the path for you from point A to point B. This is exactly how I see it. This is exactly how I've done it. And this is exactly how I continue to do it. And it is an absolute miracle when you experience it. And that is legit. So again, if you have curiosity about my money course, where I go into a lot more stuff like this. This is some pretty advanced stuff. This is for people that want to really move into another experience of reality. I definitely suggest this course. I know I'm probably overselling it a little bit, but I really, really believe in it. And it's all I got. It's guns blazing, coming out, giving you everything that I've done, and the reviews on the course are absolutely awesome. So we got one more of these manifestation lessons, and that's going to wrap up the series. So I will see you guys next time, and please like this video and comment below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one. Bye, guys.